Please give up the very funny Paul Ogata.
Hello, Beijing. Did I say that correctly? Beijing?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, because I seem to get scolded every time. I'm not saying the J correctly or the B correctly. I'll just, hey, China. I'll just say it like that. That's a lie. That's a lie. I know exactly how to say it. Everything you hear on stage tonight is a lie. Everything you've heard tonight, everything you've heard in your life up to this point is a lie. That's what we do as humans. We lie. Like animals make one singular, like moo or meow. That's if we made one noise, we'd be like, oh shit. We lie so much, in fact, that we have to tell people when we're not lying. They ask your opinion, what do you think about this? And you're like, well, if I'm being honest. And then you lie anyway! First time to Beijing, not the first time to China, but this is the first time that I'm here in this city. And it's amazing, it's a great city, very historical.
So the pollution is real.
It's, well, yesterday was pretty bad. Today wasn't bad at all. I mean, it was a little bit over what the World Health Organization says that you should not ever breathe, but it's just a little bit over that. And other than that, it was a beautiful day.
Is there anything that is different from what you think of it?
I thought there would be more secret microphones and cameras that the government would be watching me, but I feel, and I could be wrong, but I feel like they are letting me do what I want.
Well, it's okay as long as you can actually see them.
Yes.
All right. So Paul, you're an amazing comedian. I was there for the both nights.
But thanks.
Really, really good at everything. Crowd work, the best I've ever seen.
Oh, stop it, man. Thank you, though. But it's more fun for me when I do that. When I do crowd work, I have a good time too.
What makes it so amazing? Just like you're talented, you were born like that, or it's a lot of practice and experiences?
People ask me, how do you get good at comedy and specifically crowd work? And I say, you start with having no friends as children. As a child, you have no friends, and then you grow up and you do comedy, and that's how you do it.
So for how long time you've been doing comedy?
Full time. This has been my only job for 8.5 years.
Only in 8.5 years?
Well, I mean, as a full-time thing, but I've been doing comedy for forever, really. I had a day job before.
Last century?
Oh yeah, in many previous lifetimes, I was the comedian for Napoleon. No. But no, it's something I've always been doing. But 8.5 years ago, I quit my day job and decided to do this full-time.
So you used to be a writer?
I did radio. I had a morning radio show in Hawaii.
Wow.
For about 8 years, and that was a good experience for comedy. You're writing every day, and you have to create new material, and you release it into the world, and then you can't ever do it again because you're doing it on radio to the same people who are listening. So it was a good help in comedy.
I know there's an Asian American comedy scene in the States, but definitely you step so far out of that circle. What make it so incredible like this? Is it like comedy is it's easy from the very beginning?
No, I was always the funny kid, I guess. Class clown, and it was really the last of my options. I went to school to be an electrical engineer, and I quit. It's not what I'm wired to do, pardon the pun, but it wasn't me. Then I went into business school, and it wasn't what I wanted to do. And in the end, I found out what I really needed to do in life, and this is what it is.
So what benefits to your development in comedy? Like you travel a lot, or like you were influenced by so many different comedians that you watch them live?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to watch comedy all the time on TV. it wasn't around as much as it is now, but when it came on, I was sure to watch it on the Tonight Show or on HBO. I used to watch George Carlin a lot, or Robin Williams, and I guess those two guys, George and Robin, are the chief influences of me in as far as getting started in comedy. That's what I wanted to do, and I thankfully got to meet Robin several times. Saw George Carlin live once, never got to meet him, and I'm sad about that. But that's the nature of life, you know. You hopefully one day, someone will see me doing it, and they're like, "Oh, that's what I want to do," and I'll somehow influence the next guy to do it.
Some people say that so comedy is in his. I could not say this is in the prime time for comedy, but I know that in the 1980s, comedy almost died. So what makes it so like booming in recent years?
It can never die. It's cyclical, of course, to be sure. It'll have its ebbs and flows, but everyone needs to laugh. It's an indispensable industry, and this world is so full of troubles that everyone needs to release that, and comedy is the perfect valve for that. So it will never go away.
So you're based in LA right now.
Yes, yeah.
So what are the places you always do comedy?
Well, the Laugh Factory has always been good to me.
Wow. I've been there once.
Oh, it's
watching.
It's like a temple of comedy.
Yeah, it's
right?
like temple comedy.
The Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, another great top club, and one of my favorite newer
where
clubs.
Jay Leno
Yes, Jay Leno's
right?
there every Sunday. But one of my favorite clubs in LA is called Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank, and it's an amazing club run by comedians. It's owned by two comedians, so they get it and they treat comedians well, and they always have great crowds.
Is Burbank somewhere where Conan's shows, Warner Brothers
Yes,
is located?
absolutely.
Because I heard jokes about that once again from Israel.
Yeah, that's where Johnny Carson did his show for many years, and Jay Leno did his show as well in Burbank, beautiful downtown Burbank.
What's the best city in doing comedy in the United States?
There are many good cities: New York, Los Angeles, Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago. There are many good cities, and those are just the big cities. But there are burgeoning scenes in every little city as well.
Wow. What makes you travel to Asia or like in China in general, Hong Kong?
I go where people will hire me, and I love to see new scenes, nascent scenes bubbling up, like the scene right here in Beijing. It's new and it's vital, and the energy involved is amazing.
Do you believe that stand-up comedy will be big someday in China?
Absolutely, it's a matter of time. Like I said, everyone needs to laugh, and it's the more and more people. It's sort of a new art here in China, and the more people that tap into this, it's going to spread like Ebola, but in a good way.
Oh, 2 more people got Ebola.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 more people got in comedy.
Yeah.
Right, but many of the regular complaints here from mainland China is that, oh, we cannot joke about politics. Oh, we cannot talk about sex. So you see, there's so much so-called tradition that put people's mind in cage still.
Yes.
And also, it's a dictatorship, dictatorship. So we think this is a big trouble for comedy.
Well, in the meantime, then don't joke about politics and sex. There are so many other things that you can have fun with up on stage, and that's the beauty of this art of stand-up. A lot of times I have things that I know I want to talk about, and I get on stage, and because of the audience, I end up not talking about it at all. We end up talking about so many different things. It's wonderful.
What is your favorite comedian, and why would you think he's the best?
Well, I'll go back to George Carlin, because he can be insightful and talk about the intricacies of life, but on a dime he'll turn and do silly jokes. He'll do a sex joke or a fart joke or whatever it is, and that's the kind of range that I hope to have, and speak about anything.
I've seen comedy scene very big in South Africa.
I was in Johannesburg doing shows in South Africa, and it's ready to explode. They've got comedy's a good healer, and they need a lot of healing in South Africa. Of course, apartheid, and it's still a lot of tension in that country, and I think comedy, stand-up comedy specifically, is going to be the perfect healing vehicle for South Africa.
Do you think that there's a local twist of stand-up comedy?
In South Africa?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, maybe in South Africa, in Germany, in Hong Kong,
Yeah.
in Taipei.
Yeah, that's the beauty of comedy as well, is that it's fluid, and yet it like Bruce Lee said, be like water. You can be the shape of the cup in South Africa, or you can be the shape of the bowl in China, but comedy will find its way to become what is needed in each place.
I think there's a growing number of people who have interest in comedy in China, in mainland China.
Good.
Are there any tips for them if they want to do comedy?
Yes, do it. Don't just sit around thinking, can I do it? Should I do it? Maybe I'll do it. Just do it. The only way you can get better at this is to actually do it. It's one of those few things in life that you get better at it in front of the actual audience. If you're a brain surgeon, they don't let you operate on a regular live human. You have to practice on dead people. But here in comedy, we're cracking open live skulls every night.
How do you develop your material and write jokes?
Well, a lot of bad things happen to me, and I just report it to the people.
Yeah, that's just kind of it's just that comedy's hard, right? You got a 1 hour material where you develop in like within years time. Just get it into the 1 hour show. So how do you actually develop it? You try everything like in the open mic and
That's where it starts out, in the open mics. You come up with an idea and you flesh it out. You try it out here on the stage. You see what works and what doesn't. You edit it down and you try it again. It's a slow whittling process. It's like when the sculptor has a block of marble. That's what we start out with. They said, how do you create this sculpture? And the sculptor says, I take away everything that isn't the sculpture. So that's what we do. We whittle it down until we have a beautiful sculpture.
But one thing that's difficult here is that it's always like the same group of people watching your set, right? You cannot do like 3 different venues in one night.
Well, and okay, sure, it's going to be difficult, but you have to persevere and you have to be focused. Don't get up on stage if you're a new comic and fuss around and do the same joke in the same way every time. Record yourself. Always record yourself and see what went well and what didn't go well, how you can improve and what you can change. And so if the same audience is here, seeing you do the same joke, it's not really the same joke. They'll appreciate that it's gotten better because you've done the work to cut the fat and boost the muscle of that joke.
So you've been in Beijing for
2 days.
2 days, right? Anything interesting here?
Everything's interesting here. Are you kidding?
What are some of the funny observations by you so far?
No, listen, every city has its own quirks, all right? The food is great. I like the way that people are very polite on the subways, and they let you get off before they get on. That
talking
doesn't
about
happen.
Beijing?
That doesn't happen. It's like a mosh pit on the subway.
All right. Yeah, I think I'll call my questions down. Is there anything that you wanna say to the Chinese audience?
Embrace comedy. There's a beautiful comedy scene here in Beijing and in Shanghai and in the smaller cities as well. Embrace it. Go to the shows. Have a good time. It's a win-win. Some people lie to make themselves feel better about their jobs. I upset a bartender in Los Angeles because I called him bartender. And he marched on over and he said, no, I am a mixologist. Well, mix me a Budweiser, bitch. Can you do that? I'm not a comedian, I'm a nuclear shits and gigglist.